Hello, I'm State Representative Shelley Rudnicki, and I represent House District 67, which is Fairfield and Benton.
I'm Gary Drinkwater, representative of District 27, representing the 5 towns of Elton, Argyle, Corinth, Bradford, Hudson, and my hometown of Milford.
And we're here today to talk to you about why you should vote Republican. And our basic topic to this segment is Republicans support law enforcement and our veterans. Gary, why don't you take this one on?
Certainly. As an Air Force veteran and a military policeman for 6 years, I know how important it is to have your leadership back you. Now, Shelley, we saw a bill that wanted to remove qualified immunity from law enforcement. Can you think of any other way to discourage people from wanting to pursue a law enforcement career? We're already suffering a shortage. We just saw in Mexico, they can't hire policemen. They're having a hard time. We're seeing that all over the state of Maine. I think that was an intentional move by the Democrats to defund police departments.
I would actually agree with you on that, Gary. Maine is hurting for police officers. We already know that they're limited on what they get paid. And I know here in Somerset County, we are in dire need of some sheriffs, and it is tough. And you know, one of the things do you remember on the House floor when this was brought up, Gary? I actually stood up and asked if they were willing, legislators get qualified immunity. So I stood up and asked if they were willing to give up their qualified immunity, if they were going to force our police officers to give up theirs.
That's right, Shelley. And Shelley, I guarantee that if they continue to control the House, the Senate, we will see this bill come back. Now, it could come back with us in the majority, but we know where the vote would be. It would be ought not to pass.
I agree. Let's kind of explain this a little bit to folks, how things actually work. So when a bill comes to the floor of the House, it's gone through committee already. This type of bill, it's qualified immunity, so it went through the Criminal Justice Committee, and I was actually on the Criminal Justice and Public Safety Committee when this was actually going through 2 years ago. And it has to go to committee first. The committee votes it out. Now let me explain to you, on the committee, it's based on how many legislators you have in each party, and they choose to go on to these separate committees. Well, the Democrats are in control of every committee. So right now, because they own both the House and the Senate, so they control all the committees. And after it goes to committee, it then goes to the floor of the House or the floor of the Senate. One thing that I learned once I became a legislator is to decide which bill goes to which house. And that's based on who brings the bill forward. So if the bill is brought forward by a representative, then it goes to the House first. If it's brought forward by a senator, it goes to the Senate first. Well, then when it comes to say it comes to the House and we vote on it, the Democrats control the House and they can make their decisions. Right now, they control the House. So if they pass or deny it, it then goes to the other body. And the problem is because they control everything, we don't have a lot of say in what's going on. So here's the one thing we have to remind people, Gary, is we need at least one body, at least one.
That's right, Shelley. And I'd like to just share a little story with folks, because you and I were on education in the 129th. And we saw an incident where a Democrat voted with us Republicans on funding for the Department of Education upstairs. She was immediately taken out of the room, taken to the office of the Education Committee. The lead senator, Democrat, the lead House representative, Democrat, went in the room with her and scolded her. And when they came back, Shelley, and they said, well, we are going to revote this issue. Now, keep in mind that they already had enough votes to get their way. But they did not like one Democrat voting for anything with a Republican. And when she was asked to vote again on that issue, she changed her vote.
She did. And you know what? I don't have a problem saying her name, Gary. That was Jan Dodge, and she is a Democrat out of the Belfast area. So if you are a Belfast voter, you really need to think hard. If you want somebody that's going to be a yes man for the Democrats, or somebody that's going to stand up. And that's the problem we have right now. The Democrats are controlling everything, and their people. Strong control over them.
As I got to know Representative Dodge better, because this was early in our freshman year,
Yeah.
I asked her, what did they do to make you change your vote? And she said as a retired teacher, they said that they would remove me from the Education Committee. If I have bills that I would like to see passed, they would not support my bills. And if I decided to run again, they would find somebody to run against me in the primary.
And they've already proved this last primary, that they will do exactly that. I mean, we have a prime example of what they're doing when you look at the race between Bruce White was primaried in Waterville because he didn't vote the way they wanted him to vote on the abortion issue. And the other one that they did the same thing to is Joe Perry out of Bangor area, and they primaried him too. Bruce lost his primary, so they put in an ultra liberal in the Waterville one, and luckily Joe Perry is well enough known in the Bangor area, which is where you're from, up that area, Gary. He's well enough known and liked that the primary didn't do any good. But Democrats have shown their true colors over, well, the 6 years we've been there. We've seen it time and time again.
And they've controlled everything, Shelley, for 6 years. And we are seeing an exodus of moderate Democrats. Representative Landry was with us on the abortion bill, but they told him to take a walk. And he took a walk, but he was dissatisfied with their pressure tactics, and he decided not to run again. Representative Perry, what happened to her?
Oh,
She was told to take a walk during LD 1619, the abortion bill. And we had a Somalian, remember that?
oh yes.
That even her folks from her country called and said, we hear that you are going to vote to kill babies. And what happened to her, Shelley? Leadership on the Democratic side said, we have enough votes. Why don't you take a walk so you don't have to vote?
That's the type of thing we're putting up with. I know we told you this topic was going to be law enforcement and veterans, but it's a general idea of some of the stuff that's been going on in Augusta, and we wanted you to know. Now, we do support law enforcement, Republicans do, and we support our veterans. We support our public safety in general, and I think people need to understand that we are for them, and we're doing everything in our power to help the Republicans get reelected, but to help our law enforcement and our public safety. And that's what we need to work on. And this is something that we have decided that is our, it's something that we want to take a stand on. And I think that matters.
Absolutely, Shelley. We will continue to back the blue. Vote Republican.
Thank you.
No breaks, way ahead. Bad boys, what you gonna